The Blitz. Boy. Right, Shalom. Shalom. Of course, first I'd like to give all praises unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and are still enduring and laboring in this truth to this very day. Shalom to you brothers out there on the highways and the byways, teaching this word in all sincerity and in truth. I salute you. I also salute those of you out there that are listening and learning. You brothers and you sisters out there, also the ones that are supporting the ministry. All right. First, let me just confirm that the audio and the video is coming through clear. If a brother on the comment board can confirm that for me, Baba Kasha. Okay, Dawada, God's son. Alright, and Yahba Shemishai Brakatham to all you arguing on the comment board, okay? Um, the title says it all, Nato, which is the beast spoken of in the book of Revelation, the 13th chapter, consisting of the 10 horns, and them bringing down fire from heaven. And the brother Shakal from the London camp sent me a video. This particular video right here, which is if you're interested, if you're if you are intrigued, you can go search this title. It's a RT documentary. Why Zasto NATO bombing Yugoslavia in 1999. That was part of the Kosovo War. Between the Serbs, Serbia, Montenegro, and the ethnic so-called Albanians. All right. Um, it says here NATO bombed Yugoslavia for 78 days. Belgrade was bombed 212 times. All right. And you could check out this documentary. I'm not going to play it, but if you're interested in that war, check it out. Now, this particular war was prophecy. And that's basically what I want to show and get into, dealing with Revelations, the 13th chapter. All right. Now, let me just show this on the screen for you brothers. Yes, this is the documentary here. Why Zasto NATO bombing Yugoslavia in 1999. All right. So you could check this documentary out. I want to jump into the scriptures real quick. Revelations 13 and 11, and it says, "And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth." Okay, and he had two horns like a lamb. Now the two horns represents their political system, which consists of a political left and a political right. All right, for instance, in the UK, you have the Conservatives, which would be considered the left, and centre left. Now they got the centre left, whatever. But then you got Labour, which would be considered centre right, so to speak. All right, right and left is the basic um uh, 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 points of view within their political system. In America, you got Democrat, you got Republican, and you got little parties in between. Okay, and he spake as a dragon. All right, meaning draconian. It says, "And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast." Now, the first beast was the Roman Empire, and they had great power, man. Let's look up the Roman Empire, and they exerted themselves over the known world at the time. Let's see if we can get an image of the Roman. All right, here you got image of the Roman Empire here. All right, they exerted themselves and their Roman ideals over much of the known world. And this is an image of the Roman Empire in 117 AD. All right, so it exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast. Meaning, they when the so-called white man had his Renaissance era and he came back into power, and then eventually these different nations that he set up came together. These different European nations that he took control of again and set up came together to form Nato. Basically, they dominated the earth and caused the people of the earth to idolize the Roman way of life, which is ultimately the Edomite way of life. Okay, causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed, because Rome was wounded with a deadly wound. All right, when it was taken down by the Israelites, it was co-opted and then taken down by the Israelites. Okay, but then the Edomites came back and reestablished Rome all over again, beginning with America. All right, and he says, "And he doth do it." This is going to be the key scripture. "And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men." All right, now this was fulfilled by the beast with the in 1999 with the event in Yugoslavia, which I'll play a video, and we could watch the video of one of the bombings. I think this is one of the first bombings that NATO did in Yugoslavia in 1999.
Над вечерним Дунаем разносится белый цвет, белый цвет, белый цвет. И на память мелодия просится прошлых лет, прошлых лет, прошлых лет. Но растаяли птичьими стаями в нашей песне простые слова. Ты уходишь в огонь, Югославия, без меня, без меня, без меня. За ночь под свинцовым градом, за то, что меня нет рядом. Ты прости, сестра моя, Югославия. За смерть под дождем весенним, за то, что не стал спасеньем. Ты прости, сестра моя, Югославия. Черноглазой девчонкой растерянной ты стоишь на другом берегу, но добраться до этого берега не могу, не могу, не могу.
Yeah, so that's the point. I mean, you see the fire, man. And NATO, they opened up on little Yugoslavia. You know, they opened up on Yugoslavia. Okay, as you can see right there, you know, they as the scripture saith, they brought fire down. You just get that scripture again up here. The scripture said, "He doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men." And this was fully documented on TV, which I'm going to show that. All right, and this was the first bombing campaign of NATO, which NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, believe it or not, is supposed to be a defensive pact of the members. But it became an offensive because that's what Esau is really all about. Esau is not about defense. He's all about offense. Now I want to read this article just to confirm with you brothers here. And this is from RT. It's a 2014 article. It says 15 years on, looking back at NATO's humanitarian, you know, that's Esau's favorite word, bombing of Yugoslavia. You know, and there's an image there of that fire. And where did that fire come from? That fire came from heaven, the sky. All right. It says exactly 15 years, and basically NATO showed that they could coordinate together, man, as one. Exactly 15 years ago, on March 24th, NATO began its 78-day bombing of Yugoslavia. The alliance bypassed the UN under a humanitarian pretext. Yo, where's that coming from? Let's mute this. Salakia. Okay, let me get back in there. It says launching aggression that claimed hundreds of civilians' lives and caused a much larger catastrophe than it averted. You know, so hey, there you go. Years on, Serbia still bears deep scars of the NATO bombing, which, as the alliance put it, were aimed at preventing instability spreading in Kosovo. Questions remain on the very legality of the offense, which caused casualties and mass destruction in the Balkan Republic. But because the so-called white man is the one who's in power, he's not gonna find himself guilty. And even if he does, he's not gonna sentence himself. Okay, so but that's just to show you it was basically the first engagement. Let's see if I can get that. Yeah, let me get this bit for you, Arkham, okay? Condemned Operation Allied Force. It was the largest attack ever undertaken by the alliance. It was also the first time that NATO used military force without the approval of the UN Security Council. So they were just going on their own tip, led by America, of course, the whore which sitteth upon the beast. All right, it's part of the beast and sitteth upon the beast. All right, it sitteth upon them 10 horns, those 10 nations, the original nations which make up NATO, and against a sovereign nation that did not pose a real threat to any member of the alliance. And this is key, because the whole point which they said they set up NATO for was for the defense of NATO members. But when they attacked Yugoslavia, they didn't attack Yugoslavia in the defense of NATO members. And pretty much since then, NATO's been going on a wild walk through the earth, man, exerting their power and influence through their military. All right, establishing the so-called Anglo-American Empire, which is nothing more than the Roman Empire, the Edomite Empire, all over again. Now I wanted to get where that was that one. I wanted to get another precept. Where are we at? No, it was an article that I had. Uh, all right, that's it on that. Now, yeah, I'll just stick to this shock or no. Right. So, basically that was the point, man. Revelation 13 and 13 was fulfilled beginning with in Yugoslavia in 1999. All right, let me just hit the comment board up and then I'll jump to the next scripture which speaks about the 10 horns. Some good comments here. Twin Fam said that was the beginning of the beast system, formally starting the World War III process. From then on, the psyop sped up. Yeah, that was the beast going on the offensive against Russia. Going beast mode, so to speak. So let's get the scriptures pertaining to the 10 horns. Right, I'm gonna just get straight to the point, okay? So the scripture describes a beast here, Revelation 17 and 7, okay? And the angel said unto me, whereas didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which have the 7 heads and 10 horns. Now the beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, which represents Europe, and also the condition that the so-called white man was in during the Dark Ages, man. They were within Europe and they were technically in a bottomless pit, man. They were shut up, man. They didn't have no effect on world affairs as they do now, and go into perdition, because America and Nato are going into perdition. Point blank period. They've been on the road to perdition from the moment they established themselves. Okay, the timer was set. The scripture says, the Lord setteth it bounds that he cannot pass. Okay, and they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world. And that's talking about the 2/3. The 2/3, their names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is. All right, because ultimately the elect are going to be saved from the power of the beast, which is in them missiles, their military. And here is the mind which have wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth. So the 7 mountains represent 7 great Edomite nations which preceded America and this modern day kingdom they have now. And there are 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and 1 is. The one that was Rome. All right, when Esau was set up in actual Rome, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. Right, and that other that was to come, all right, the 7th was the Britain, which they had the British Empire for a short space of time. All right. And the beast that was and is not, even he is of the 8th, and that represents America. America, which is the finality of Esau, all right, the final evolution of Esau and his kingdoms, represents that 8th beast. all right, and is of the seventh, meaning because that's why it's known as the Anglo-American Empire, because America came out of Britain. They came out of the British Empire and goeth into perdition, into destruction. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. And it's not an actual hour, it's for a particular time frame. And that represents these different NATO nations. They have received power with the beast. They have received reward by being part of the American empire power structure. All right, France and all these guys. They've done well for themselves being underneath that structure led by America. These have one mind because they move as one. They militarily move as one. Their policies are as one. Their foreign policy, they attack nations and break them down as one. These have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. Meaning NATO, they come together and they give their strength unto what? The beast, which represents the entirety led by America. All right. Let's quickly get up NATO and show you NATO up here. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization. And here you're going to see, it should give you a list of the original members of NATO, which NATO has since increased. Where we at? I just want to get the list. Right, so it says that present NATO has 29 members. In 1949, there were 12. All right, but when you really check it out, Belgium and France originally that was really one. They were one. Really, it's 10. When you look at these nations as they existed, especially in ancient times, it really makes up 10. All right, a lot of these are nations that split in two. You know what I'm saying? So it's really 10. The 10 horns represent NATO. What they did, they split these countries and tried to make it 12. But these are the original founding members. All right. But now there's 29. All right. See if they got the original. See if we can get the list. Usually there's a straight list. There's an image that shows you the founding members, because it goes back to the original 10 nations that was in the Roman Empire before. All right, when you go into the history, all these European nations today, a lot of them are basically divisions of nations which existed back in the Roman Empire. I'm trying to get something easy for you brothers to see, but it's not making it easy. But you could research that. Usually there's an image which just shows you straight up the members and who were the original members. If I can't find it, we're just gonna have to move on. But I just wanted to, because normally they got something and it makes it. There we go. There we go. There we go. Right. So you see here, not including what the United States, you got 11. All right, and then pretty much look, man, you got Belgium and France. That used to be really one country right there. So really, it's 10. All right, if you exclude the United States, really, it was founded with 10 countries. All right, so that's the prophecy right there. Let's jump back over here. So these nations here, these original 10 nations, which then these other members joined in later into the party, they received power as kings with the beast. All right, let me hit the comment board. Yeah, multinational corporate. Yeah, all these different NATO countries, man. They got them multinational corporations, man, uh, 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 feeding off the world, man. And they all got their piece. All right, it ain't just America. They all get their piece. America gets the biggest piece though, cause they're the big dog in NATO. All right, now I wanted to show something here because when you see these Edomites, man, like for instance, you had this building that was on fire in the UK, right? Recently, and these people are acting crazy about it, and 12 people died. Now these devils are so horrified, in these instances, but they never seem to be horrified when they're blowing the hell out of other people's countries and killing innocent civilians in the process. Like how many civilians were killed during the Yugoslavian bombings? Which you could research it. They really had no precedent to go in there. They were not justified to go in there because it came out that they claimed they went in there because of war crimes that were being committed, but all the war crimes were committed after NATO entered the battle. And there's an article here from Naum Chomsky called "A Review of NATO's War Over Kosovo," where Naum Chomsky goes over that information, man. So these guys, they're the devil, and what they do, they go into these countries. You can remember Iraq, right? Now, when they had the bombing in Manchester and all them children were killed, and when they had this, oh, it's horrific. It's horrific. These people are horrified by these acts. But let me show you how the news treated the war in Iraq. And they showed it live on TV. Live. Dropping bombs in Iraq on a city filled with civilians. Now let's see what the coverage was like.
Question time is at 10:50 here on BBC One after an extended news with Hugh Edwards. Baghdad tonight under heavy bombardment on the day the war started. American and British troops are in action on land, sea and in the air. The massive ground assault is underway. The Americans warn it is just a taste of things to come. Dozens of cruise missiles fired at targets, including the homes of Saddam Hussein. More on the way. Here in Britain, America's B-52s primed for action. And the Prime Minister now confirms Britain's involvement.
Tonight, British servicemen and women are engaged from air, land and sea. Their mission? To remove Saddam Hussein from power and disarm Iraq of its weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah, them weapons of mass destruction. Notice you ain't gonna hear, while they rolling the images, you ain't gonna hear them say, oh, this is horrific. Because it's, they're the ones doing it.
Good evening. The massive military operation to topple Saddam Hussein is now underway. American and British forces have been in action on the ground and in the air. Thousands of troops are on the move, supported by intense artillery fire. The Iraqis have responded by firing missiles into Kuwait. Tonight, Baghdad has again come under heavy bombardment and parts of the city are ablaze. This is the scene.
Did you hear that? Parts of the city are ablaze. Now here it is. They had this little building on fire here in the UK where, you know, dozens of people died. Oh my, that's horrific, you know. But here it is. They're blazing up a city, and they're just talking about it like it's just, yeah, it's a matter of fact. You know, we're dropping now. This is a city filled with women and children. Yeah, you know, we're just dropping bombs. You know, yeah, you know, yeah, it's all good. You know, nothing to see here. Look, check this out. Boom.
In the Iraqi capital right now, after attacks on government premises and other key buildings, including, we're told, some of Saddam Hussein's residences. Iraqi forces have responded with heavy anti-aircraft fire. Tonight, the Americans warned that everything that's happened so far today is just a taste of what's to come. The assault began in the early hours.
I mean, I need to show no more. It's just a taste of what's to come. That wasn't horrific. That wasn't deemed as horrific. Just like the bombings in Yugoslavia were not deemed as horrific. You know, when they go around the world killing, you know, people, man, wholesale, it's never horrific. But then as soon as a couple of people in the West die, the news cover it like the worst thing has in history has happened. And it's so horrific. How dare children die? You know what I'm saying? These people are absolute hypocrites. They sat there and watched shock and awe live, and over 1 million Iraqis died, mostly women and children, in that war for oil, where no weapons of mass destruction were found, and no one has gone to jail. This is the kind of world we're living in, man. All right. Now I want to get a couple scriptures on that, man. And then people in Yugoslavia, man, they hate America. Brother sent me this. This is from that documentary. He said, "What is NATO? This is who they are. New American terrorist organization." Yeah, they've been terrorizing the world, man. Directly and indirectly through their terrorist proxy forces commanded by their secret services. CIA, MI6, French intelligence, the list goes on. These guys have been terrorizing the world, man. All right? Look at this. I'm just sorry that the terrorists didn't hit the White House. And this was a woman speaking from Yugoslavia because she saw firsthand the devastation that beginning with America and their NATO allies caused in their country, Yugoslavia, man. Their humanitarian bombing, setting their city ablaze. And then they get a little building on fire in London, and the whole world has to marvel at that and be sorry, you know, and oh, this is horrible, you know. Where is it? Yeah, this is it. This is horrible, you know. There were children trapped in there. Well, when you set all kinds of buildings on fire in Yugoslavia and in Iraq and Syria, and the list goes on, man. But you show it on the news like it's nothing. You know? Anyway, let me get these few precepts in and I'll get out of here, man. This is Psalms 58 and 2. Yea, in heart you work wickedness, ye weigh the violence of your hands in the earth. This man, the so-called white man, is a violent man. And he's always got a justification, man, for his violence throughout the earth. All right? The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies. Every time they've engaged in some warfare, they've pretty much always lied about the reasons why they're going in there. With the so-called white man, it's always cloak and dagger. It's always a hidden agenda. There's always a hidden hand. There's always some bullshit. This guy is never straight up. Their poison is like the poison of a serpent. They are like the deaf adder that stoppeth her ear, which will not hearken to the voice of charmers, charming never so wisely. Once these guys have got their mind set on taking your ass out, man, they gonna take your ass out, man. There ain't no bargaining with this devil. Gaddafi tried to bargain, and what happened to him? Let's get Gaddafi, man. Because Gaddafi started trying to make deals with NATO. Tony Blair went over to Libya and was making deals with Gaddafi. Man, they had their mind set on taking this dude out. And this is how Gaddafi ended up in the streets by the American proxy forces, man. Because this wasn't his own people. These were paid mercenaries. Hey, that's what you get for trusting these devils, man. All right? That's what you get. Let's get Gaddafi Tony Blair. You invited Tony Blair into your house. That's what you get. All right? Look at this devil. The whole time they already knew they were going to take this guy out, man. He let this guy into his house, man. Look at this. Yeah, man. Oh, boy. You know? And look what they did to the man. All right? So, yeah, that's the way of the devil, man. He's a liar, man. He's a thief. He's a murderer. He's a hypocrite. Break their teeth, O God, in their mouth. Break out the great teeth of the young lions, O Lord. And that's what the Lord's going to do. The Lord is going to break the teeth of America and their NATO allies, man. All right. Ultimately, the Lord is going to be the one to destroy NATO and America with them chariots, man. The missiles are going to play their role, but them chariots are going to finish these guys off and finish off all their armies. In fact, let me get a quick scripture in the Apocrypha I like to get out. Because this devil, man, look, man, because he's got this mighty military, he really think he could do whatever he want to do, man. And he ain't going to have to pay for it. This is Sirach 5:1. Set thy heart upon thy goods and say not, I have enough for my life. Follow not thine own mind and thy strength to walk in the ways of thy heart. See, to the so-called white man, might is right. His mind frame is if you got the might to do something, you can do it. Not considering that there is one which is mightier than him in the heavens, who's going to weigh his actions in the balance. He doesn't consider that. As far as he's concerned, look, I got the military might. I bomb and kill who the hell I feel like. All right. And even if I get caught, even if I get exposed, who the hell is going to put me in jail? Who's going to punish America? Who's going to punish NATO? NATO is the greatest military alliance on the face of the planet Earth. Do not ever get that twisted. Don't get it twisted. That's the only reason why Russia ain't started this war already. Okay? The reason is because NATO is a force to be reckoned with. Don't get it twisted and think that NATO is some paper tiger, man. NATO's got some shit. America by itself, their military expenditure is equal to the rest of the world. So when you add NATO into that, they got some shit, okay? Don't get that twisted. That's why they've been letting their balls hang on the earth. Let me show you something, man. Go to NATO military power. And that's why they've been letting their balls hang. You watch this video, 23 minutes long, right? These dudes got them teeth. I'm going to show you them teeth. Yeah? You know? They got some shit, man. When you look at the equipment that they possess, I mean, collectively, they got more aircraft carriers than, well, America has more aircraft carriers than anyone else put together. All right. This one's a bit long. Shit, the shorter one. I'm doing something. I'll be out in a minute. Okay, all right. No. Okay. You know, this is what NATO possesses. That's why these devils are so proud. That's why they really can't see themselves being taken down, man. Even by Russia. You know, but the Lord's gonna set it up where America's gonna get wounded up, man. They're gonna get wounded up. They're gonna be taken out. But statistically, on paper, they got the shit, man. They got the goods. All right, you go on YouTube, you look through the videos detailing the equipment, that NATO possesses, man. It ain't no joke. That's why these nations, man, they've been in fear of the beast, who is like unto the beast, man. These dudes have got the shit. All right, they got the shit that'll level your country up. All right, let me hit the comment board. Let me get the scripture. 2 Kings 20 and 13. It says here, it's some heavy script. And Hezekiah hearkened unto them and shewed them all the houses of his precious things, the silver and the gold and the spices and the precious ointment, and all the houses of his armor, all that was found in his treasures. There was nothing in his house nor in all his dominion that Hezekiah shewed not. Verse 14. Then came Isaiah the prophet unto King Hezekiah and said unto him, what said these men, and from whence came they unto thee? It says they are come from a far country, even from Babylon. You know, and they came to come up against Hezekiah, man, after they saw all of his glory. All right, that's how these heathens roll, boy. The judgment shall come, Cleveland. Deliver me, O Lord, from the evil man. Preserve me from the violent man, which imagine mischiefs in their heart continually. Are they gathered together for war? Yeah. That's this man. This man is continually gathered together for war. All right. And it's going to be his undoing. NATO's going to come unstuck, man. NATO is going to come unstuck. All right. And the end of NATO is Yahweh Shai, man. Point blank, period. All right. So let's jump back over here, man. That's why these devils are so proud. It says, and say not, who shall control me for my works? And that's how these devils operate, man. You know the amount of war crimes that America and NATO have committed, and their giant military base in the Middle East known as Israel have committed, like officially, like it's just known. These men have committed war crimes. Tony Blair is straight up guilty of war crimes. Who shall control them for their works? Who is going to stand up and put these people in their place? Because they got the gun. They're like, you watch them old westerns and you got the local gangster running the town, and even the sheriff can't put him in jail because him and his men own all the guns. You know what I'm saying? Who shall control me for my works? It says, for the Lord will surely revenge thy pride. Because they don't consider that, look, there's a mightier power than NATO, man. And all this wickedness that they've done on the earth, beginning to the things they've done to the Israelites, then down to the heathens, they're going to reap of it by unction of one which is above them, by a court which is above the world court, by a court which is above the Hague. You want to talk about a court? The highest court is in heavens. And the highest judge is Yahweh, and his son Yahweh Shai is a judge too, sitting on his right hand. And that when the judgment come down from there, it's a wrap, baby. All right. Say not, I have sinned, and what harm hath happened unto me? For the Lord is long suffering; he will in no wise let thee go. So hey, you know these devils, man, they gonna pay. They're going to go down hard, you know. And you know what, man? I want to bring these few scriptures out. Let me just check the comment board. Yeah, he let by. Oh, yeah, twin fam. Hey, the brother's bringing out the scripture because of what Gaddafi did, man. Gaddafi let the Esau, which is even worse than the Babylonians back then. You don't let Esau. Look, man. Don't shake hands with this guy. This guy will blow you away and sleep good. Hella good. Tony Blair is sleeping good at night right now. All right? All right, let's jump back into the scripture here. I wanted to bring this one out because see right now, just like before, the earth is under the vibration of the serpent. And that's why the earth is completely filled with violence. This is Genesis 6 and 11. The earth also was corrupt before God, and the earth was filled with violence. And ultimately, man, that's the vibration of the serpent, man. Whenever you let the serpent's vibration loose on the earth, as it is now, the earth becomes what? Corrupt and consumed with violence. This is the violent man. All right? Now, as pertaining to you Edomites here in the West, you Edomites that are so horrified at when Edomites get blown up in a terrorist attack, you're so horrified when 10 of you die, but when you kill 300, 400, 1 million people in another country, you ain't got a problem with that. This is the judgment that's going to come down on all you Western nations, you Edomite nations who have loved to shed blood. You have loved to shed blood. And then pretend that you are against bloodshed. Horrific! This is innocent people. Oh, it makes me sick to watch you Edomites pretend that you care about children for a day on the news. When the week before that, you killed that 300 children somewhere in Syria or some. Well, for you killing, you giving vaccines to the children and killing them. You filling the children's minds, with the poison on the TV. You killing them that way. You ain't got a problem with that though. You aborting you aborting children wholesale on an industrial scale, man. But then turn around and say you care about the children. Man, Job 15 and 34, for the congregation of hypocrites shall be desolate, and fire shall consume the tabernacles of bribery. And that's how Esau society is ruled by money, man. As long as the money is right, these devils will overlook anything, man. Corrupt. Virulent, violent capitalism. That's what the war in Iraq is all about. That's really what it comes down to, man. Esau is greedy of gain, man. And he'll do anything. The love of money is the root of all evil, man. This man is carnal. Alright? But anyway, yeah, that's pretty much all. I didn't really want to go on for too long. That's pretty much all I wanted to say on that. The main thing that hey Ark, if you wanna go into if you wanna quickly speak on the Israeli situation, you can call in if you want before we shut down. But the main thing is you gotta understand is that NATO is a fulfillment of prophecy. America is the whore that sitteth upon the beast. Alright, NATO is the 10 horns. And what happened in Yugoslavia in 1999 was prophecy. Their dominance over the nations is prophecy. But what is also prophesied is their downfall. In fact, let me read that by Yahweh Shai. Revelation 17 and 14. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Lord of lords and King of kings, and they that are with him are called faithful and true. Hey, Shalom, Yabashim Shabrakata. Let me put you on loudspeaker, Art. 1 second. Okay, Ark, you good?
Done. Hey, Shalom Akim, Yabashim Shabrakatham, and all praise and glory be to Yahbashim Al Shah. I just want to add a quick point with the whole NATO thing. The brother was reading right there in Revelation, the 13th chapter, talking about how he brings fire down. You have to always remember when the scriptures talk about the least shall draw them out, who is controlling these institutions globally, man? You got to remember that the formation of that Treaty of Rome, which led into basically the consolidation of these NATO and UN and EU powers, man, was done by the likes of Henry Kissinger and all these other Edomites who were compelled by the state of Israel to, by those so-called Jews, basically to establish the state of Israel and then further make it that centralized U.S. military base that we're talking about, man. And everything that they're doing is to basically engage in trying to create a false blessing for the Edomites, you know? And so when you see the expansion of NATO, when you see how NATO has gone into all these different nations and forced them into IMF loans, forced them into World Bank loans by deconstructing the nation itself, it's all utilized for Esau to control the world's natural resources. And who's supposed to control the world's natural resources? The real Israelites, man. That promise of dominion was passed down from Adam all the way down to the Israelites, and they're trying to control that, man. So I just wanted to highlight that. You see these moves that are being made currently, man. There's a battle that's being prepared, and Lord willing, me and you will go in on it a little bit more. I know we already kind of went into that Greater Israel project, but as you see recent developments unfolding, man, you can see they're getting ready to bust Damascus up, just like the prophecy says, man. And you got these so-called Jews at the helm of these institutions, at the helm of NATO, at the helm of the United Nations, at the EU. All these central banks are ran by these so-called Jews, man. And they're going to be the ones that draw out that flame and that fire between the NATO forces and so-called Eastern Bloc forces of Russia, China, and all the other allies, man. So I just wanted to highlight that point, man, because people forget shit. The goddamn those the Israeli state has been committing nothing but genocide and terror over in that region for over 60 years, man. Doing whatever they want with genocide. They got videos of Israeli troops sitting on top of buildings on part of
Oh shit. Sorry. Salaki, Ark, someone called me. Sorry, go ahead, Ark. Say that again.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Keith. They got Israeli troops sitting on top of buildings and areas all across Jerusalem, just sniping Palestinians, man, at random discretion, just laughing and snickering as they blow Palestinian children's heads off, man. So this devil, man, he's comes just like you read in Psalms the 140th chapter, man. This violent man, he's continually prepared for war, man, and it's not going to stop until basically a blaze is set all across America, all across the world, and Yahweh shall have to return. You know what I'm saying? It's about to get lit, man, and the Most High is going to open up their armory for Esau to destroy himself, and it's going to be a beautiful thing, man. It's going to be a beautiful thing. But man, like I always say, man, I love these topics, man. I love when y'all brothers going on these topics, man. It's always good to hear these prophecies. These prophecies go out, man, because you see it, and it's right in our face, man. It's beautiful, you know. But I just wanted to add that point on that Israeli state, man. There's tons of articles out there. One article that I'm reading right now is let me see so brothers can pull it up if they want to. It's from Al Jazeera. It's called Israel's never-ending crimes. It's not just settlements. And if you've been paying attention to the news recently, Netanyahu just approved expansion of more settlements in Western Jerusalem where they're not supposed to be expanding because of the agreements that they made in 1968 after the Six-Day War. There's certain boundaries and limits to these so-called Jewish settlements that are continuously violated, and NATO is going to continue to back them up, man. And so if you do have some type of nation that tries to come up against the Israeli state, whether it be in Israel itself or some other part of the world, maybe Syria or wherever, you best believe that they're going to spin that fire down. So I just wanted to add that point out, man. I didn't want to go on too heavy, man. I know you want to move around, so I just wanted to add that in there,
Hey, Khan, throw it up.
man. Kind, man. Hey, y'all about Shemel Shabrakatah.
Hey, y'all, Bashim Shabrakatah. Throw it up. Shalom.
Hey, Shalom.
Yeah, brothers, you heard it, man. You heard it. So, this is beautiful times, man. Prophecies unfolding, and look, man. Like I said, man, everything that these devils are doing, it's all prophecy. So we can trust in the fact that our enemies, man, they gonna meet their end. We could bank on that. Okay, that's bankable. All right. So with that, I'll say shalom. And till next time. Okay, shalom.